Hey guys, this is Growth Beast, co-founder of Growth Stories, the first on-chain marketing newsletter in the space, and welcome to the second edition of our marketing minicast. Today, we've got Tommy Thomas, co-founder of Pachi-Funk, a full-service creative studio in the Web3 space. So if your project and you need community growth, partnership infrastructure setup, or execution on design, UX, branding, you name it, look no further. I've added a link below. Please contact them. Tommy, this is just the second edition and still a brand new format. I want podcasts to be as digestible as possible and for marketers and founders to be able to just listen on the go on their way to the grocery store. I'll fire up 10 questions, 60 seconds each. If that all sounds good to you, let's get this minicast started.
Let's do it.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, look, I know you're more of a creative studio than an agency, but for somebody starting anew, what's your best advice for sourcing clients?
I think the best thing for someone who's new to agency, the agency world, agency space, is to build up your case studies, build up your capacity. If you don't have good case studies or whatnot to begin with, because you need to get clients to get good case studies, make good examples of what your work can do. Say you're a UX specialist, your UX agency, build templates. Those are great. Meet people, that's super important. A lot of deal flow for agencies happens through referrals and meeting people. So go to events, DM people. That's a great shout. And spend time learning, different kinds of lead gen, because it's something that's, for you, and it's a service that you can actually offer other people. So it's actually worth getting good at lead generation.
Next question is about scaling, right? Is there such a thing as a sustainable scaling? Agencies are generally more inelastic businesses. You hire a lot during the bull run, you fire a lot during the bear run. What's your take on this?
I would push back on that idea just a little bit. Like, I definitely feel like that could be the case, but I think, scaling is all about capacity. Do you have outsourcing partners? Do you have deal flow through referrals? Are you generating enough revenue through referrals? How you structure your deals can also give you a lot of buffer to scale. But I don't think agencies are that inelastic. There's just millions of companies out there, and they're always going to need services. My whole thing is really just identify what services you can offer any sort of company. And during a bear market where, say in your particular niche, there happens to be less deals coming your way, you can always pivot to another niche.
Now I want to piggyback and kind of move the focus a bit towards you, right? Few people know you're one of the OG creators on Lens. You were there while I joined last year. So how has that helped you build your agency?
I think I've been in the Lens ecosystem for 2 years now, and it's been amazing to watch the Lens ecosystem grow. I've been working with Social5 for, as soon as I got into the Web3 space full time back in 2021. I was working for a Social5 project to begin with. So I was always very interested in what could Web3 do for creators? What could on-chain social media look like? And for me, Lens really was one of those first iterations of, what on-chain social could be in the way that I wanted to see it. So I was excited to be on Lens. I remember doing a lot of Rabbit Hole? I think is a questing platform where you could get a Lens profile to begin with, when it was difficult to get a Lens profile before permissionless. I think as far as helping my agency grow, it's sort of, it's sort of one of those things where it's nice to be early to platform, so you know how it works, and then you can understand how to leverage that for your clients, right? Imagine you're on Facebook early, learn how Facebook ads work, and you're able to, pump out ads early, for your clients. There's so many more opportunities on Lens that are yet to be realized, right? Because we're so early in the development of the ecosystem, what apps are there, but there's so many people building such interesting things. We've seen the MatPie team, for example, they were innovating on they were trying to innovate on ads to begin with as well, having creators get paid for making posts and whatnot. So there's all different kinds of experiments happening, but I think just being an agency founder, getting onto platforms early will always be beneficial to you, because you learn how to leverage those for your clients.
Right. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And yeah, it's kind of I've been sort of super active on Fraudcaster since January, and now I can help people kind of figure out how to grow on chain, fully on chain. And so for your agency, right? If you were to start again, how would you do things differently? What would you change if you would change anything?
I would change a lot. quite frankly, if I could go back, I would change a lot. Like, I've been building this agency for 2 years now, so there's a lot in that time that I feel like we could have done differently. But it's all been a learning process, so not too mad. But again, it goes back to focus, like really having in mind what moves the needle. I think that's something that not enough people think about, like what tangibly are you doing that moves the needle, and what are your growth flywheels, like identifying what your growth flywheels are, drawing that out, having it right in front of you. Like I have a whiteboard that's in front of me where I work, and there I have literally what moves the needle, my growth flywheel literally just front and center. So I'm constantly reminded of and then also like underneath that, what should I be working on, like what areas of work should I be working on, what do I delegate, right? So those things, like you kind of need these like little things to remind you constantly like of what's important, what to focus on. To the point, I have it in front of me on my whiteboard. I have it in my notes. I have my Ikigai as my like what's it called, phone screen background. Just constantly reminding myself like what is the focus, what moves the needle, what should I really hone back in on? Because it's really easy to get distracted. There's a lot of shiny stuff in this space. There's a lot of things you want to explore. There's a lot of new ideas you're gonna come up with that you're gonna want to go deep and throw it like the whole kitchen sink at. But really, like I said, it's all about focus. Going back to like making sure that you have the agency model running so that you have the time, capacity, the funds to actually work on these ideas. Because the problem is like, you commit your all to one idea. Fact of the matter is like 99% of startups fail. And that's really, really grueling. Like to put all your emotion, time, effort, funds into one idea, just for it to go up in flames, right? I would focus a lot more on like what's important.
Yeah, you definitely have to send me that picture so I can post it up while you're speaking.
For sure.
And so what's the most important role in the creative studio or marketing agency in your opinion?
Mhm.
Right? Is it the head of BD? Is it like the marketing side of things,
Mhm.
execution? What do you think?
I think I don't know, it depends how people want to structure the agency. But I think whoever is overseeing and managing operations is the most important person in an agency, right? Because you can have, great executors, which you need, very important, right? Like I think the BDs are super important as well. Each team is super important. Obviously, like lead generation is the priority, but ultimately, like once you get the leads in, like you need to deliver efficiently. And if you have multiple clients, yeah, that becomes supremely important. So I'm a very systems oriented guy. So I think like in terms of dividing your time between like lead gen, execution, and then like strategic management and operations, like you should really allocate a significant amount of time to building systems, so that you deliver efficiently, building up that capacity. If you have nothing to do, if you think you have nothing to do, revisit your systems. Like how can you like be more efficient? Revisit like what templates do you have? Like make templates if you don't have templates. That all makes things much quicker, to deliver. That makes things much easier for people you onboarded to do their work, right? You want to set up systems where you can plug and play anybody into a role and they're able to execute, because you have the right systems in place, the right templates, the right SOPs, right? So somebody to manage that and oversee that and like also refine that is super important. Like I take that on myself because again, like I'm a systems oriented guy. I want to be the person who kind of like organizes that, oversees that, make sure it's running properly. Um, so yeah, I think I'm most important. But no, I'm joking. But to answer the
Shameless
question,
plug.
I think shameless plug for myself within my own, company. But whoever is, basically operations, whoever managing, overseeing operations, super important. Like, second to obviously lead gen.
And do you think it's better to just focus on a niche like DeFi or NFTs, or just take clients across the board? What's your take?
Niching down is super important because I think once you niche down, that's where you can really do a lot of like great work in terms of like really getting good at like delivering for a specific niche and then developing great referrals, from there on. But I think initially what you need to do is zoom out, really identify what are your services, how have you productized these services, have that very clear in a way that, oh, okay, so I'm providing this service productized in this way and I can apply this to any niche, any industry. right? Like, okay, this is what I do for community building. This is how I productize it. This is what I do for partnership. This is how I productize it. I can offer this to any company in any industry. And then from there on, I niche down, right? And then I tailor down, right? I tailor down. So I then think about what are the best, best practices within a particular niche, like for DeFi, like in terms of comms, like obviously comms for DeFi project might be a bit different for a meme project, for example, for a meme token, right? But understanding how you're tailoring down, what are the differences in terms of the different niches, that's super important. But I think what's important is having that broad, understanding of what you offer, how that's productized. Because again, like in the bear market, right, if you want to pivot to a different industry, it shouldn't be so difficult, right, to do so once you have that, right? Because you're just seeing where you need to niche down, how do you need to tailor things. You have to go broad, then niche. Yeah.
Try things out and then decide what you want to focus on. We actually put together a recent edition that basically talked about the 10 God-given metrics that we think are relevant, right? In the Web3 space, we're talking there about collection rate, about wallet lifetime value, about referral rate, total value enabled, things that people don't really talk about, and I think should be, marketing fly metrics. What are some non-BS metrics that you employ for your clients, right? We're not talking TVL or impressions.
Yeah. Impressions is a rough one. And it's also really hard to get away from the vanity metrics, I feel like, especially because a lot of times your clients will look at the vanity metrics and then it's easy for you to be like, oh yeah, you're impressed with that, why not? But it's really like you want to be building up those strong case studies, right? Ultimately you want to be delivering good work for your clients, because that's how you get new clients. You get through referrals, or you've built up a great case study that shows, look, this is the impact we've had for our clients, right? And that's why, your non-BS metrics is super important. And I recommend everybody go see that Growth Beats article, because I read it. I think it's super great. There are loads of different metrics that I wasn't aware of. Like the one you coined, the first one. It's escaping me now, but
the collection rate. That
collection rate. That's a good one, bro. It's a good one. And then, but I think referral rates is super important, because there's a lot of user acquisition strategies in Web3 rely on referrals. So your referral rate's really important in that case. Quality daily active users, quality active community members is also something that's super important. I feel like it's more it's not a hard metric you can follow, but it's more subjective, and you kind of have more of an art in terms of telling what's happening in the community. Is there quality discussion happening right now, or is this just waffle for the sake of waffle, right? And I think if your project has a token, volume, if you have no volume, you're probably gonna get delisted, to be honest. So if you don't got volume, it's gonna be a big problem. Everything should be geared towards driving volume if you have a token. Volume, quality DAUs, and referral rate.
Yeah. Okay. Those are quite a handful. Let's hope the audience can remember. Well, man, we reached the end. Thanks again for showing up. I'm super excited for your growth. And, for those still chiming in after 10, 15 minutes, do hit subscribe on the Growth Stories newsletter and collect the episode. This is mintable. Mint it right now. And who knows, maybe you'll get something in return in the future. Wink, wink. We're publishing the latest marketing trends on chain every single week and the best growth deep dive. So don't miss it. Thank you again, Tom. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks, Sean.
Guys, thank you all for listening to our minicast. Please make sure to rate and subscribe to it wherever you're listening from. It helps Laura and I so much. Thank you again for your support. It means the world to us, and we'll see you in the next episode.